What's up, guys? Today I'm going through my 2026 World Cup US Men's National Team squad. This squad I'm going to be picking, it might surprise some of you, but I'm going to base it kind of off of how Poch likes playing with the five back and how successful we've been recently with this new system that he's implemented. You'll see I'm kind of going for like a 5-1-3-1 with a CDM, three midfielders, and then the striker up top, of course, and then the fullbacks will be playing more like wingbacks and getting up in that attacking play more. You'll see when I get to my starters what I'm thinking with that. But I'll start with the goalkeepers. First goalkeeper, I think, has been Poch's main man ever since he was appointed manager, and that's Matt Freese. He's shown up time and time again. Not the greatest at coming out of his net, but I think he's still a strong shot stopper, and he'll be a huge addition for the boys this summer. Matt Turner, of course, he was Berhalter's main man, but I think he's still... Him and Freese, I think, are a toss-up of who's going to be the starter, and then the last guy, the third keeper, you never really use him too much, but I think he'll bring Gaga Slaninia or some other young guy to get some experience under the belt. It's a great learning experience to learn from the starters like Freese and Turner. But a couple big names that I left out, Ethan Horvath, CONCACAF Nations League legend. Zach Steffen, of course, I think he's just a little bit out of form, and then Sean Johnson, of course. Anytime he's played for the U.S., he's been lights out, but, he might be a little past his prime, so I don't see those guys getting the nod this year. For the center backs, I see Poch bringing Chris Richards, Mark McKenzie, Austin Trusty, Miles Robinson, Tim Ream, and then here's my wild card, Noah Kai Banks. This is where the back five, you'll really see it come into play. I'll have Chris Richards in the middle back. He'll be the anchor back there, of course. He's our best all-around center back. Lighting it up for Crystal Palace, just hit 100 appearances, whatever, just scored in that game as well. Mark McKenzie and Austin Trusty, two great defenders who are doing great work over at their clubs in Europe. Mark McKenzie specifically plays on the outside of a back three, so that'll be good if Poch plays him on the left. And then Austin Trusty, he's the Swiss Army knife defender. He'll play right back. He'll play center back. He'll do it all for Celtic. All three of those guys are great in attacking play, which is huge. Miles Robinson, he also can play any of those back three positions. He's great for versatility, super athletic, great off of set pieces, attacking. Tim Ream, of course, the experience and leadership. If he was 5 years younger, he's probably starting in the squad, but I see him most definitely getting brought for his experience and leadership. And then Noah Kai Banks, he's the developmental wild card. He's good at building up out of the back. He's athletic, he's fast, he's quick, so I see him getting brought as well. And then on the outside, I don't really see Walker Zimmerman getting brought. He was penciled in almost every squad Berhalter made, but I just don't think he's showed up under Poch, so I see him missing out. I see Cameron Carter-Vickers, Aaron Long, they're just both coming off those Achilles injuries, and, I don't know if they'll be able to find form in time. They still got a couple months on the road to recovery, so we'll see how that plays out. But next we got our wingbacks, and you'll see what I'm saying when I say that they're going to be playing as wingbacks, kind of like how Poch has had them playing all summer in the past windows. Serginho Dest, Jedi Robinson, Joe Scally, Alex Freeman, and Max Arston. Jedi Robinson, I don't think I need to say much about him. I think he's far and away our best wingback. Serginho Dest, I think the back five is really going to be beneficial for a guy like him, so it gives him the freedom to go up more, attack a little bit more, stay up a little bit higher, have less defensive responsibilities because we'll have those three center backs back there. And then Scally gives you reliability on either side, and I think Freeman and Arston, they're great young, athletic, attacking-minded wingbacks, so I think they'd be great in the system. A couple of guys who just miss out, I think, are going to be John Tolkien, Brian Reynolds, and then you got guys like DeAndre Yedlin, Reggie Cannon, who I think are just maybe a little bit past their prime. So that's who I see him bringing for the wingbacks. And then I split the midfielders and attackers up into two different groups. You kind of got your box to box, and then you got your more attacking midfielders and wingers. So I'm going to start with the more box to box kind of guys. And I very strongly see Tyler Adams getting the nod if he's back. I know he's getting nicked up over at Bournemouth a little bit right now, but we'll see how that plays out. Weston McKennie, I think it would be such a mistake to leave him off. He really is Juventus's best player. It comes out about once a year every summer where it's like, oh, there's trouble with McKennie and the relationships over at Juventus, but I think he's a sure lock for the squad. He always shows up for the U.S. Yunus Musa, just an absolute monster when it comes to progressing the ball through the midfield. He's great. And then another guy who I think is pretty exciting, and I could really see him. This is my first kind of questionable take, maybe, but I think it'd be a strong move, and I think Poch really likes him a lot. He has a lot of grit, a lot of passion. He's fiery, great on set pieces. Is Sebastian Berhalter. So look out for that. That would be a big one. A couple of big misses, I think, would be Aiden Morris, Luca Della Torre, and Gianluca Busio. They're all good players. It's just the squad's so tight, so you can't really bring everybody. But if somebody goes down with an injury, I can definitely see some of them getting brought in. And then for the attacking midfielders and wingers, I see, of course, Pulisic. That's our guy, our top guy. I guarantee he'll be getting brought. He's our best player. So Pulisic, Tim Weah, lightning in a bottle. He scored our first World Cup goal in 2022 against Wales. So he's obviously very exciting, very dynamic. I don't like the idea of him playing wingback as much as I do as him playing winger, because I think he's so strong, making those runs in behind, helping with those overlap runs. Him and Dest work really well on the right side together. Brendan Aronson, what more do I need to say? The defensive work rate for Aronson is just impeccable. I think the passion and fieriness that he brings to every game, he's lighting it up over at Leeds right now, he's in very strong form, so I think he'll get pulled up for sure. Gio Reyna, this is a big one, because he can really go either way. Is he going to be the informed Gio Reyna, or is he going to be the injured every 5 minutes Gio Reyna in the next couple months when Poch is picking the squad? If he's in form, I think no question he gets called up. He's just so dynamic. But I do think he'll make the squad. But another guy who's kind of had a shaky season so far is Malik Tillman. If Tillman is in form and picks it up a little bit more, he's performed under Poch in the past well enough that I think he gets the nod for this one. Guys like Tanner Tessman, who are lighting it up over. He's lighting it up over at Lyon in France. Johnny Soccer, I think he'd be a big miss. Johnny Cardoso, and then Alex Zendejas. Zendejas, anytime he's came on, pace, skill on the ball. He'd be a great option. But there's opportunity for any of these guys. You don't know what's gonna happen with Gio Reyna or Malik Tillman, but maybe those guys step up and step into that role. And then lastly, I got the strikers. So I could see Poch very, very strongly. I don't think this list will change, except for what I'm going to say at the end. But I think Flo Balogun, Haji Wright, and Ricardo Pepi are the three strikers he'll bring. Depending on Ricardo Pepi's arm injury that he just got under. But it looks like he'll be back. And if he finds form, he should find a spot at the World Cup. If he makes that move to Fulham that's rumored right now, who knows? Is he going to get playing time behind Raul Jimenez? Who knows what's going to happen? But a couple guys on the outside that I think could definitely, depending on that Ricardo Pepi situation, I think Patrick Adjaman, Poch has taken a big liking to him. hasn't really performed too much for us, but he is in form in the championship over in England. So, you know, you never know what way Poch might go if Pepe's not fit. But I think those main three are going to be our guys. Sargent, Ferreira, DK. DK's a guy everyone would love to see in, but he just hasn't really found the form since all those unfortunate injuries. Ferreira, you know, if we play any lower level teams that we need someone to score 7 goals against, you know, Ferreira might be our guy, but I don't know. I don't see him getting called up. And then Josh Sargent, you know, what's going on with him in Norwich and his move that he wants to Toronto, but you know they're not willing to pay the price that Norwich will let him go. You know, that whole drama situation. I don't see him getting called up. All right, for the formation, like I was talking about, it's a 5-1-3-1. It's going to be a goalkeeper, the 3 center backs, the 2 wing backs, CDM, left center and right mid, and then the striker up top, of course. I'm going Freeze in net, and then I got Dest as the right wing back, Jedi as the left wing back, left center back, I got Mark McKenzie. You know, he plays there very frequently for club. I think that'd be a great fit. Chris Richards is our strongest center back, so I think he's, of course, going to be the anchor in the middle. Austin Trusty on the right. You know, he's Celtics Swiss Army knife, like I was talking about earlier. I think he's a great fit as the right center back. Tyler Adams as the CDM, holding the fort down, you know, like he's always done for US and for Bournemouth. Timmy Weah over on the right, Pulisic on the left. I think that's kind of obvious for the way my system's set up. You know, both guys so great at including that link-up play with the wing backs and then in through the middle. In the middle, I got Weston McKennie, you know, so creative. So he can do it all. He'll drop back, help out Adams. You know, he'll get up. If Jedi's swinging a ball in or Dest is swinging a ball in, he'll get up and help the striker up top and try to head that ball in and poach in the middle. And then lastly, I got Haji Wright up at the striker. Haji Wright's been the main man, you know, that maybe it was lucky, maybe it was skill flick against Netherlands in the World Cup a couple years back. He's just been lights out, you know, for Coventry. And then he's been good anytime he's called up to the U.S. men's national team. Kind of like how Pepe's the super sub. Anytime Haji Wright plays, it feels like he scores. So that's my squad. If you hate the formation, tell me why. I just think that's what Poch will go with based on what he's ran in the past international windows and what's been successful for us. Remember, we beat the wheels off Uruguay using this system, so I think it's very likely that we play with this in the World Cup. I get it, some of the players are different for this system, but I largely believe that's what we'll go with. If you'd start Balogun over Haji, I mean, I'd understand it. I just don't think Balogun's showed up for the United States as much as Haji Wright has, so I don't think that would be a way Poch would go. But if you'd start Balogun over Haji Wright, I totally understand it. Just let me know your thoughts on my lineups below, and if you're sticking with me 5 back, hit that like button, subscribe, and I appreciate you watching.